Okay, I'm about to make no bake blueberry cheesecake. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add just about 18 ounces of blueberries, and this is my blueberry pie filling. What I did was I added 2 tablespoons of cornstarch, 1/4 of a cup of all-purpose flour, 2/3 of a cup of sugar, 1/4 of a teaspoon of cinnamon, and about 2 tablespoons of vinegar. And I kind of burst some of the blueberries, and I let it sit for about 45 minutes. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add it to my saucepan. And I'm gonna cook my mixture. I'm gonna cook my blueberries. I'm gonna cook them on about medium-low heat. For about maybe about maybe 5 minutes or so, until they thicken, till the cornstarch, does its work and they thicken a little bit. Okay, so I let my blueberries. I let it cook for about maybe 6 minutes. Kind of stirring it constantly. And this is ready. Once you see that deep purple color, it's ready. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna add it to my bowl. Add my filling to my bowl. And I'm just gonna let it cool I'm just gonna let it sit here and cool for about maybe 15 minutes. But as you're cooking it, you want to just stir it constantly. I'm gonna let it cool for about 15 minutes or so. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take 24 ounces of cream cheese, and I let the cream cheese soften to room temperature. I'm gonna get my cream cheese ready. And then I'm just gonna blend it a little bit. Until it gets fluffy. Just blend it a little bit. Just blend it till it gets fluffy, nice and fluffy. All right, that's nice and fluffy. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add 1.5 cups of powdered sugar to my mixture. Yeah, I'm gonna add 1.5 cups of powdered sugar. To my mixture. Hold on, but before I do that, I'm just gonna blend it just a little bit more. Not much, just a little bit more. Okay, so now I'm gonna add my powdered sugar. Blend my powdered sugar in. Yeah, look, that looks lovely. It's coming together nice and lovely. Look at that. Look how lovely that looks. Coming together nice. That looks lovely. See how fluffy that is? That's what you want. You want it to be nice and fluffy. Consistency. Just want it just like that. So everything is nice and incorporated. Okay, so see how when that's nice and perfectly fluffy, no lumps. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add 1/3 of a cup of sour cream. At 1/3 of a cup of sour cream. Okay, so I'm gonna add 1/3 of a cup of my sour cream. Third of a cup of my sour cream. Then I'm just gonna blend that in. So that's perfectly incorporated. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my blueberry pie filling and I'm gonna add 1/3 of a cup of this blueberry pie filling to it. measure out 1/3 of a cup of my blueberry pie filling, and I'm gonna add that. Then I'm gonna add 1 tablespoon of vinegar to my mixture. Got 1 tablespoon of vinegar. Okay, so I'm just gonna go ahead and blend it. And you should see it all become like a uniform, perfect purple color. Like you see it now. See how it's becoming nice and purple? That's what you want, that nice, perfect, uniform, perfect purple color. Blend it all in. And there it is. That's your uniform, perfect purple color that you want. You want that purple color. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add 1 cup of whipped cream. I'm gonna add 1 cup of whipped cream to it. And this is the texture you want. This is homemade whipped cream that I made out of heavy cream. There's another video for that, separate video. So I'm gonna add this is the texture you want the whipped cream to be. So I'm gonna add the whipped cream to it, and I'm just gonna fold it into it. Like Japanese style, fold it into it. Just gonna fold my whipped cream into it. Till it's perfectly incorporated. Fold my whipped cream into it. Until it's, until the whipped cream is fully incorporated into my mixture. Okay, so now for my filling, for my pie crust. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a cheesecake tin. I'm gonna take a cheesecake pan. And I'm going to take some parchment paper, hold it over my cheesecake pan, then I'm just going to cut around it in a circle to where it stops at the pan. I'm going to use my pan to cut it out. Okay, so I'm gonna put my parchment paper in my pan. Then I'm gonna make my crust. That's a separate video for making the crust. I'm gonna make my crust. Okay, so I added my graham cracker crust. To my cheesecake pan. And then it says there's a separate video for making graham cracker crust. But I use this bowl to make it. There's a separate video for that. And to make the graham crackers. These are graham crackers that were made from scratch. Then I just smoothed it out across the pan. Okay, so now I'm just gonna put my graham cracker crust in the freezer for about 15 minutes and let it freeze. Okay, so I let my graham cracker, I let my crust freeze. I left it in the freezer for 15 minutes. So now I'm just gonna add my cheesecake filling. And then I'm gonna even it out. Okay, now I'm just gonna even it out. Make sure it's perfectly even. Then I'm gonna add my blueberries. I'm gonna evenly add my blueberries all over it. Okay, so I'm just gonna put this in the refrigerator and let it refrigerate for at least 6 hours, and that's what you want. That's your blueberry cheesecake.